keep talking about space. I'm an Aquarius. But no, different space.
Only been a few hours, but it felt like days. Only been days, but it felt like months. Been gone for a year, only know like once.
Hello everyone. Welcome back to the Radiantly Feminine podcast, where we embrace elegance, confidence, and the power of true femininity. I'm your host, Mookie. So whether you're looking to refine your presence, elevate your mindset, or even just navigate relationships with ease, this is going to be your space to grow and glow. So sit back, relax, and let's unlock your feminine power together. So today we are going to be exploring a topic that has been on the mind of many women. We are going to talk about how to be pursued without actually having to do any chasing. So in other words, I want to dive in on how you are allowing yourself to be courted, desired, and pursued while you're still maintaining your femininity and your sense of self-worth. Before we dive in, I want you all, if you haven't already, to go ahead and subscribe and share your comments on this video or the last video so that it can help reach more people just like yourself. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Okay, so now that we're getting into it, I just want you all to remember that your feminine energy and being attractive is not just about your appearances. When you feel good on the inside, then yes, that is going to radiate out on the outside, but it's not about how you look on the outside. It's about how you feel on the inside. So your feminine energy and your attractiveness, they start from within. So you have to elevate your mindset in a sense so that way you can feel and look better. So let's just wipe that thought out of our head, at least for the sake of this episode, that we are not just strictly talking about your physicality. We're going to be talking about what you're fixing on the inside and how you're coming across from the inside. And if you don't know by now, femininity is about embracing your nurturing side, your soft side, being receptive and graceful. A woman who's embodying her feminine energy, she's able to set boundaries, she trusts her intuition, and she knows her worth. And ladies, when you are trying to establish your worth, it's not for somebody else to tell you what you're worth. It's not for somebody else to establish for you. That's for you to do on your own. Feminine woman, she also is not going to go out and seek validation or attention from others because that involves chasing, and that is actually going to take you out of your feminine energy. Now, when it comes to being pursued, feminine energy is crucial to have or to be in. Like I said, when you are chasing, doing the opposite of being in your feminine energy, it's going to actually deplete you of your feminine energy. When you're being pursued, this means you are stepping aside and allowing people to invest in you, to court you and desire you. Try to think of this. When you're at the beach, you're on the shore and you're watching the waves come in from the ocean, and each time the wave comes in, it hits the shoreline. So think of the wave as energy. The energy is going to meet you where you're at if you're at the shoreline. So what I mean by this is you're able to operate in your authenticity and just be you, be who you truly are, then that wave, the energy is going to meet you where you're at. You're not going to have to chase that wave down because, like I said, that wave has a destination. It's going to go to the shoreline one way or another. So you do not have to chase that wave down. Please don't be the person that's chasing the wave because you're chasing the energy that you're trying to call in, and that's not going to get you anywhere. That energy is going there one way or another, but you have to do your job and make sure you are in the right spot to receive that energy. So please don't be the person that's running after the wave. Be the person that's able to stand still in their true power and receive that energy that's coming in. And being in your feminine energy means being receptive, right? So for the people that don't know, what does being receptive mean? It means being able and being inclined to receive. That's it. So what you're doing is just setting yourself up to receive, and you have to use discernment. Like, you're not going to be out here accepting any and everything from anyone, so you want to use discernment for what you are accepting or receiving. And I know this can sometimes feel or sound counterintuitive, especially in the world that we live in, where we're told to go after what we want, work hard for what you want. Trust me when I say there's so much power in being still. There's so much power in being calm and collected and just allowing the pursuit to happen naturally. For example, I do not text first when it comes to dating. I feel like that is chasing. And so if a guy wants to show me he has interest in me If he wants to hear from me, then he has to text me first. I will not initiate a conversation first because, like I said, that feels like chasing to me, and that's just something that I'm not willing to do, especially in the first stages of dating. Because why am I showing more interest than the guy that I'm interested in? That's not allowing me to be pursued. I am literally taking the space away from this guy to pursue me by stepping into that masculine energy and pursuing him instead. So that is a boundary that I did set for myself, so that way I can allow the guy that I'm interested in to come to me rather than it being the opposite. So I want you guys to know there's a huge difference between attracting versus chasing. Attracting, when you think of attraction, I want you to think of a magnetic force, a natural magnetic force. And we know that magnets can repel each other. And then when you're thinking of chasing, think of active energy or active effort. Now, attraction, it happens naturally. It's something that you don't have to force. It's not something that you have to speak about. It's just naturally there. And if you're trying to operate in your feminine energy, but you find yourself chasing after the things that you want, whether it's in dating, platonic relationships, or familial relationships, or professional, or your professional environment, if you find yourself chasing and trying to force things to happen, what you're going to do is cause an imbalance in that relationship or situation, and an imbalance in your energy as well. Attraction is going to be something that you embody. Like I stated in the beginning of the episode, it starts from within. So attraction is going to be something that you embody, and you're going to embody this in your actions, your presence, and your energy. And on the other hand, chasing is driven by desire and need, like having a need for something. So I'm going to use this, I want to just give you guys a scenario. Say you're at a social gathering and you see somebody that you're attracted to, you feel like they're attracted to you as well. You get their number, you start texting, but you're the one initiating the text, and you are just showing that you're interested in multiple ways. And then if the actions weren't enough, you're telling them that you're really interested in them, and then that leads to you asking them on a date and this and that. You are basically maintaining the connection. I want you guys to take a step back and think, does this person that she is trying to pursue or you're trying to pursue, do they think, oh, I'm really interested in this person because she's showing so much interest, she's putting in so much effort, like this is the one for me? Or is he thinking, wow, this girl's really overextending herself. Wow, she really is really interested in, I don't even have the space to actually choose her. I'm being pursued. Is this attractive? No. Like if you're doing this, this is going to lead to you just maintaining the relationship. And this is what I mean when I say this is going to cause an imbalance, because as a masculine, he is supposed to be pursuing you, but when you initiate everything and you're the one maintaining the relationship, you are literally, quite literally, taking away the space for him to come in, step up, and start pursuing you. You did not even leave him that space to do that because you stepped into that space. That space can only hold one person. You chose to be the one person that's pursuing, that's maintaining. It's going to be imbalanced. He is supposed to be putting in the active effort to pursue you, not the other way around. So this is going to come off as you overextending yourself. This is also going to show him that you are not in control of yourself or your energy. And this can honestly, it can cause people that know their worth to pull away from you because they know that you don't know your worth either. People that know their worth want to be around other people that know their worth. So when you're overexerting yourself, you're giving people that you're trying to interact with the impression that you are too available and too desperate. But if you decide to take a step back from all of that chasing and decide instead to stay calm, centered, and composed, you're going to stop chasing right then and there, and then you are going to give them that space that they need to actually start pursuing you. Because like I said, only one person can step into that space at a time, and he needs to be the first one to do that. And then once you take that step back from pursuing, then you instantly become more attractive and more radiant. And also when you do that, you are also becoming more mysterious and creating that intrigue. And then what you're doing, you're also showing others that you have respect for yourself, your time, and your energy, and you are not here to waste your time, and you are not here to be a placeholder or anything of the sort. And that, ladies, is the true essence of being pursued. Just stepping back and allowing them to come to you. And you're also showing that you value yourself and that your time you will not stand for your time to be wasted. So if you see something that's out of alignment with you, you're going to be okay with stepping away from it, because that is how you show people that you are not willing to waste your time or your effort or your energy. And I want you all just to know, like, it's okay to not put in as much effort as the guy. It's actually, like I said, going to create an imbalance. But there are other ways for women to show their interest. But chasing is not the way to show your interest, ladies. It's not. And then, of course, being pursued means having strong boundaries and being able to set strong boundaries. And having high standards and knowing your worth, like I said, is the key to being pursued. And having high standards and knowing your worth is a key part of this process of being pursued. And it actually keeps you from having low quality experiences. I apologize if you guys hear that background noise. It's a lot going on outside. But having boundaries and setting boundaries shows people that you actually value yourself, and it sets the tone for how people are actually going to value you. It shows people that you're not willing to settle. You're not going to settle for anything less than you deserve. And it also shows people that you cannot be controlled or manipulated into falling for stuff that's way beneath you. So setting boundaries just literally means protecting your energy, and it makes it easier for people to pursue you the right way. So for example, you set a boundary for being loved and valued a certain way, and then when someone isn't respecting your boundaries, you know it's time to walk away or to say no to an invitation. And this can be for anything. And this is not about being cold, avoidant, or distant. It's about knowing your worth and not accepting anything less than. To operate in your authentic self and set boundaries, what you're doing is you're showing people that you will not tolerate anything that is out of alignment with you and your desires. And then you have to trust that the right person is going to come along and pursue you the right way. What's the worst that can happen if you choose to walk away from someone that's not pursuing you the right way? What's the worst that can happen? You not tolerating BS? That's the worst that can happen. When you clear that space and remove the people that are not meant to be in your life, you're creating more space for people that are more in alignment with you. So the key aspect of being pursued while not having to chase is just allowing things to unfold naturally. Like I said, just using discernment, so that way you're not just tolerating anybody's crap, and you're making sure that you are keeping space open for people that are actually in alignment with you. You're not just tolerating things that do not align with your values and desires. So trust yourself to just walk away from things and say no to things that do not align with you. You've mastered detachment, and you know when something's not right for you and you're able to walk away. This helps to eliminate unnecessary pressure to form something or, take a connection further. So what I like to do when I'm dating someone new, I am just reminding myself that this is solely just an experience. And if this graduates into something bigger and better, then that will happen naturally. I do not try to force anything. I do not beg for anything. If it happens, then it happens. If it doesn't, it was just an experience. Now, this doesn't mean act passive or disinterested. This just means to choose to remain grounded and calm and centered in your sense of self-worth. And when you're dating, just allow him to take the lead in certain things, so that way, like I said, you're not the one maintaining the connection. Well, you're not the only one maintaining the connection. So allow him to plan the dates. Allow him to take the lead. So don't go on TikTok, don't go on Google, don't go planning the dates out. Let him take the initiative to plan the dates for you all. And if it's not something that you want to go on, if it's not a type of date that you want to go on, it's okay to say no. But you do have the option of saying no, and you do have the option of giving him other options, just in case he doesn't know what you like particularly. Like, he might like something completely different from what you like, and I like to provide other options. But if they say no, just outright turn it down, or say it's too expensive, or it's not in their budget, or whatever, then I gracefully walk away. I once had this guy who had already met me and asked me out for drinks. And a girl's gotta eat. And honestly, I do not, go out on dates that I do not deem worth my time. So he asked me out for drinks. What I did is that I provided an alternate option. So I said yes to drinks, but but I said, as long as a dinner reservation is included with those drinks. And he said, sure, picked out a place and everything. And then he asked me if I could pay for my dinner. It's not a date if I'm paying. That's two friends hanging out. So I gracefully walked away. I gracefully declined it and walked away. That was not in alignment for me. And that's all I needed to do from that point forward, was just gracefully walk away. No arguing, no trying to stress my point, just gracefully walk away. Because that means he's just not in alignment with me, and that's okay. And like I said, allow them to initiate the conversation. People may not agree with me when I say in the early stages of dating, don't text first, but I literally do not text first because it feels like I am chasing. Hey, what are you doing? Hey, just thinking about you. Like, no, I want you to show interest in me. So if you're not showing interest in me first, like, you're not going to hear from me. Sorry, not sorry. Like, you have to show that you're interested in order to hear from me. And then allow him to make the effort. So this falls in line with initiating a conversation. Initiate the effort. A woman should never be putting in more effort than the guy. He should be liking you more. Now, allowing him to take the lead in these certain things that I just talked about and more, if you want to add more to that list, it's up to you. But once you allow him to take the lead, this takes the pressure off of the connection going somewhere. And then also it stops you from being the main one maintaining the relationship or the connection. You can still show your interest in other ways. That's not the only way to show your interest is by doing it all. Like, no, you're not the mother or anything in this connection. So you shouldn't be doing all of that work. So when you step aside and let him take the lead, you're creating that space that we talked about for him to step up and pursue you. And then this will make the relationship or the connection balanced. And it's all about just trusting the process, trusting yourself, and trusting that the right person is going to come along and pursue you the right way without you having to chase them. Now, being pursued is not just about you waiting on the sidelines for somebody to come and pick you. It's about being open to receive the right type of person or the right type of energy that you're trying to call in. So this is where your femininity is going to shine, but I don't want you to think like you have to, oh, this guy is approaching me, like he must be the one. Like, no, it's not going to always be the first thing that comes to you. We have guys catcalling us on the street all the time. But do we pay attention to that? No. Because if we entertain that, what does that mean? That means we're going to have a low quality experience because they're just hollering and yelling and catcalling at anybody they see on the streets. We don't want that. No. You want somebody who has respect for themselves. Like I said, people that know their worth want to be around other people that know their worth. And when you are receptive or open to being receptive, you are creating that space for energy and everything that you want to come in. But you have to use discernment and not choose things that are out of alignment with you, if that makes sense. And like I said, it's not about being passive and just choosing whoever whenever they decide to come in. It's about remaining aware, intuitive, and present. Being present is so, so important. And it's about being able to receive the love and attention that you desire. So you have to be in touch with yourself and know what works for you and how you want to be loved and how you want to be valued. So decide what that looks like for you, and then don't choose anything that is not that. You are creating that space for everything that you desire to come in and flow to you naturally, but you have to determine what that is first. So we are wrapping up this episode, but to sum it all up, being pursued is about being in your feminine energy, setting boundaries, trusting the process, and allowing the right people and the right energy to come naturally to you. It's also about recognizing your worth and not feeling the need to chase or convince people that you're worthy of this love. You are worthy of everything that you desire, but that's not your job to prove it to anybody outside of you. The only person you need to prove it to is yourself. So instead, create that space for things that you are trying to call in, the things that you want in life. Create that space for those things to flow in naturally. So when you're creating that space and people actually do decide to step up and love you and give you the attention that you desire and deserve, then that's just going to show you that when these people do step up and love you and give you the attention that you desire and deserve, then you know it's going to be genuine. You know that is not something that's going to be forced. It's not something that you had to beg for. Isn't it going to, just think about it, it's going to be so much more worth it when it's not something you have to beg for. Because are you truly going to enjoy it if you had to sit there and get on your knees and beg for it? No. Allow those things to genuinely happen. Allow people to want to do those things. Don't ask for it. Don't force it. Just let it happen and unfold naturally. It just feels so much better when you know it's something that wasn't forced. So before we end this episode, I just want you guys to remember that the right person is capable of pursuing you the right way. But if you are constantly entertaining people that do not align with you or do not meet your standard, you're not creating that space for the right person to even come in and flow to you. So stop chasing and just show up as your authentic self and allow everything to unfold in its time. So before we end this episode, I do want to just give you guys a quote that I found on Pinterest. And just keep in mind, I do not curse. And the quote says, "If I have to fight for your attention, then F your attention," by Tam Core. And I love this because it just wraps up the episode so nicely. But it also just goes to show that if you have to fight for somebody's time and attention, why do you want it? You shouldn't want something that you have to fight so hard for. And like I said, in this society, in this world that we live in, we are taught to go after what we want, fight for what we want. But it's like, why should I feel comfortable forcing something that's supposed to be natural? Like, so if we have to fight for it, F it. I don't want it. So I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in today. And if you're not subscribed or following the podcast, please do so. That would mean so much to me. And if you found this helpful, any of this information helpful, let me know in the comments down below. And also try to share it with a friend. I would love to hear you guys' feedback though. So just go ahead and comment and then follow the podcast if you haven't. And I know I haven't posted on YouTube in a while. It's a lot going on, but I'm going to be more consistent now that we have the podcast up and running. But, well, the audio podcast up and running. But I do want to thank you guys so much for tuning in today, and I will talk to you next week. Bye!